Leg Clowns was written about bands like Kingdom Come, who take all their ideas from Led Zeppelin, who rip off bands like Led Zeppelin, and then they claim that they're totally original, and they won't acknowledge the fact that they're influenced by these other people. Ozzy Osbourne sings lead on this track, and there's a string section at the end, so it's got like a big 60s style kind of psychedelic section at the fade out.
Rockbox was a hard rock program that was broadcast on Sweden's national radio P3 between 1984 and 1989, featuring Per Fontander as the host. Rockbox covered both the Swedish and international hard rock scene, and in addition to new music, the program also contained interviews with various artists and groups, as well as information about upcoming concerts, etc. In the short showtime of just 45 minutes weekly, Fontander managed to put together a good mix of new and old hard rock, interspersed with investigative journalism in the form of slightly more in-depth interviews, which did not only contain the most obvious of questions. Rockbox left a clear mark on the hard rock culture in Sweden during the 1980s, where hard rock fans could learn about artists, groups, and events in a time when the sources of information were, of course, much more sparse than in the modern era of the internet. The following interview with Gary Moore was recorded in January of 1989 and broadcast in February of 1989.
Dessutom kör vi en ny tävling och en svensk demokassett och nya fräscha plattor, inte minst med den här killen.
Hi, this is Gary Moore. Stay tuned to Rockbox and you'll hear more from me later on.
Ja, visst är det han, Gary Moore, som du träffar om en liten stund. En annan LP som släpptes just den här veckan och som en stor publik har väntat på, det är Gary Moore med nya After the War, som ju redan har kört några spår från tidigare. Och Gary själv, honom hade jag nöjet att träffa då han var här i Stockholm på en blixtvisit för ett par veckor sedan. Så jag sträckte fram mikrofonen och bad honom helt enkelt beskriva utvecklingen mellan förra albumet Wild Frontier och nya After the War.
Well, Wild Frontier had a much stronger Celtic and Irish influence on it than this record. This is a much more hard-sounding rock record. There's more guitar this time. Instead of using machine drums, we used real drums in all the songs. It sounds much more live and like a band playing together. Whereas Wild Frontier had a much smoother kind of production. This one is a more kind of exciting live record.
You've left the Irish influences for the more guitar-based heavy stuff. Why is that?
It's just the way I felt about this record. I didn't want to write Wild Frontier Mark II. And when we started to write the songs for this album, they were coming out a little bit like the songs on Wild Frontier, and we didn't want to repeat ourselves and stick to a formula. Even though, you know, the last record was very successful for us, we thought, you know, well, let's take a chance and go in a different direction this time.
Get ready to dance, everybody, yeah!
Rock Commander is a celebration of rock and metal culture. Manage your own rock bands, connect with a passionate community, and experience exclusive collaborations with real bands like American Chaos and Adam and the Metal Hawks.
Do you think you're back more to the influences where you started?
Yeah, in a way it is a little bit of a retrospective record, both musically and lyrically. There are certain songs on the album which relate to the late 60s and early 70s when I was starting out. Songs like Living on Dreams, which is about Belfast, Blood of Emeralds, which is the only really Irish influenced song on the album. And that's about when I moved to Dublin and joined my first band Skid Row.
Ja, det är alltså egentligen bara en enda låt, nämligen Blood of Emeralds, som går i de gamla keltiska tongångarna som Gary Moore lockade fram en hel del på förra albumet Wild Frontier. Så han har faktiskt mer eller mindre lämnat de irländska folktonerna och lämnat mer plats för de tunga, tuffa gitarrerna. Och en av de nya låtarna är blytunga Lead Clowns, där förresten Ozzy Osbourne sjunger. Och så här berättar Gary om låten Lead Clowns.
Lead Clowns was written about bands like Kingdom Come who take all their ideas from Led Zeppelin, who rip off bands like Led Zeppelin, and then they claim that they're totally original and they won't acknowledge the fact that they're influenced by these other people. Ozzy Osbourne sings lead on this track, and there's a string section at the end, so it's got like a big 60s style kind of psychedelic section at the fade out.
Gary Moore ler lite sarkastiskt när han berättar om låten Lead Clowns som sjungs av Ozzy Osbourne. Den handlar nämligen om band som påstår sig komma med något helt nytt och eget när de i själva verket plankar andra band rätt av, berättar alltså Gary, och nämner som då exempel Kingdom Come som dagens Led Zeppelin-kopia. Och när vi ändå är inne på andra band så kan man ju då fråga sig vad Gary själv har för plattor hemma i sin skivsamling.
Well, I listen to a lot of blues stuff, you know, like older stuff like B.B. King, and I'm listening to Peter Green again for the first time in a long time. He was one of my guitar heroes when I was a kid, and so I find myself listening to a lot of that stuff at the moment because, you know, when I play this type of music, and when I'm in the studio and I'm working on a rock record, it's nice to get away from that and have a different style of music to listen to.
You're not listening to any heavy rock or heavy metal by other bands?
No, not really, no. I'm not really interested in that at the moment because, like I said, I've just been working on this record for a long time, and I like to change my head around when I start listening to other people's music. So at the moment, I try to listen to different styles of music from what I play.
So you don't know much about the heavy rock and heavy metal climate of today?
I have a good idea of what's going on out there, you know, but I don't like to ignore everything. I try to be aware of the other things that are happening, but at the same time I don't try to let it influence me too much because I don't want to be part of any kind of trend or anything. I just want to be myself.
By the way, what do you think about the much more faster speed and thrash metal?
I think if you're 16 years old, it's probably very exciting, you know, but when I was 16, we were playing stuff kind of like that as well, you know, in a different way, but it was very, you know, play as fast as you possibly can play and play all the guitar solos were like lightning. And, but you get tired of it after a while, but, you know, it's the way it is. I like personally to hear more melody in music, and a lot of the stuff that I hear doesn't have strong enough melodies, but, you know, some people are being very successful at this, so it must have something going for it.
Nej, någon större speed- och trash metal-diggare det är han inte, den gamle gode Gary Moore, som samtidigt säger att det ändå måste vara något väldigt speciellt med den här musiken eftersom den har så stor publik. Nej, Gary han lyssnar överhuvudtaget inte på hårdrock på grund av att han vill avskärma sig så mycket som möjligt från musikaliska trender inom just hårdrocken för att kunna utvecklas helt oberoende av andras idéer. Däremot står det hemma i Garys skivhylla plattor med gamla gitarrhjältar som B.B. King och Peter Green. Men nu är det alltså 1989 och Gary blev faktiskt först ut på skivmarknaden bland de stora hårdrockarna. Han har liksom hela året framför sig här nu utan att behöva sitta i någon inspelningsstudio. Vad har han då istället för planer? Vad hoppas han av det här året 1989?
Well, I think speaking of my career, I mean, I'm interested to see what happens in America with the new record and everything. Personally speaking, you know, I just want to enjoy myself. I'm very excited about the tour and everything. That's what's really in my mind at the moment, you know, getting out on the road again, because I've been stuck in the studio for a long time now. So I feel like I want to finish the hard work and get out and have some fun, you know. I deserve it.
Running from the Storm från Gary Moores nya album After the War som släpptes här nu i veckan. Och i och med det här så tänker då Gary lämna skivstudion för ett tag och istället åka ut på turné. Man kan se honom i Stockholms nya stolthet, Globen, den 8 april. Den 10 i Helsingfors, 12 Köpenhamn, 13 i Oslo och den 14 spelar Gary Moore på Skandinavium i Göteborg. Så var det då äntligen dags för tävlingen. 3 frågor om Gary Moore och den som ställer frågorna det är himself i egen hög person, Mr. Gary Moore.
Okay, I'm Gary Moore and here are the 3 questions for the competition. First of all, what was the name of my first band? The second question is, who was the singer with this band? And the third question is, how many times was I a member of THIN LIZZY?
Ja visst, där hade du alltså frågorna. 1. Vad hette det första band som Gary Moore var medlem i? 2. Vem var sångare i just det bandet? Och sist 3 där. Hur många gånger var Gary medlem i THIN LIZZY? Alltså 1. Vad hette det första band som Gary Moore var medlem i? 2. Vem var sångare i det bandet? Och sist 3. Hur många gånger var Gary medlem i THIN LIZZY? Du skriver ner dina svar på ett vykort och anger då som vanligt din adress och tröjstorlek, medium, large eller extra large. Alltså de 3 svaren, din egen adress och din tröjstorlek, medium, large eller extra large. Skicka rubbet så snabbt som möjligt hit till Rockbox.
Adressen är Rockbox, Riksradion 10510 Stockholm. Rockbox, Riksradion 10510 Stockholm.